and welcome to My Xbox and Me, episode 449. I am one of your hosts, MC Fixer, alongside the one and only Mr. Too Fresh Crash. Crash, hello.
Hi. You know what? I was expecting you to ask me how I was doing, and just the hello kind of threw me off a little bit.
Don't really care how you're doing, I'll be honest with you.
Okay.
What do you think this is? What do you think this is? You think it's a therapy session? This ain't a therapy session.
I'm gonna be honest, I've been treating this like a therapy session week after week. I was pretty bad because I wasn't here last week.
You missed an important week, Crash. You missed
I
an
did.
important week, but we'll allow it. We'll allow it. You was on Extra, though.
I was on Extra, yeah.
So we got to see you on Extra. And the one and only Mr. Paul Despawn. What up, Despawn?
So it all started with my mother.
Oh,
boys, how we doing?
You're gonna owe me a lot of money if this is a therapy session, lads. I'm just letting you know. This isn't free. This isn't free. If you didn't know, this is My Xbox and Me, our weekly Xbox podcast right here on youtube.com/My Xbox and Me and all podcast services. If you want the show early, head over to patreon.com/MCFixer. You can find us on all podcast services. Like I said, subscribe to the YouTube channel and make sure you follow us on Twitch. We are live, trying to be 3 days a week. Big shout out to our Patreon producer, Erengard. We do appreciate you, sir. Topic of the week this week, guys. IGN Live. They're taking over where E3 left off. IGN Live is in the news right now. I saw a little tweet from Brian McCaffrey, not too much. So let me read a little bit and we can talk about it in a second. Today, IGN has announced it will host an IGN Live, an in-person 3-day fan event in Los Angeles this summer, featuring gaming and entertainment creators, developers, publishers, and enthusiasts. The event will take place in early June, and while official exhibitors are expected to be announced in the coming weeks, for now it is promised to include world-class talent parties, networking opportunities, and unique attractions from a curated list of leading exhibitors across gaming and entertainment. It will include IGN live shows, tournaments, first looks, new releases, and panels featuring headliners from game, TV, movies, and more. A portion of the ticket sales will go to charity via Humble Bundle. This is quite exciting for me, I'll be honest with you. Especially after my great appearance on Podcast Unlocked, guys. You know, they surely they're going to bring me on for a panel, right? Right, Chris? Right? Right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You just have to fly over there.
Yeah.
Find an empty room at some point. Put a little MC Fixer sign outside.
Yeah.
Have somebody watching over it so they can stand in front of the sign whenever security or somebody from IGN walks by.
Of course.
And then you can sort of have your own panel for sure.
Oh. So you're saying it's doable?
Yeah. Doable for sure. You got it.
Chris doesn't believe in me.
Legally dubious, but doable.
All
Yeah.
jokes aside, I mean, this is going to be their version of E3. I know Ryan put out these tweets and they're not trying to go for that exact audience and things like that, but it's a show
In the
around
summer.
the same time in Los Angeles. Sounds like an E3 to me, if you're asking me, you know?
Yeah. It's one of those cases, like, whether or not that was their intention, that is kind of like what you fall into regardless. I do think it's smart for him to like put out the like, hey, that's not what we're going for. It's not going to stop. Like, how many times do we see showcases happening? It's like, hey, this is what we're showing at the showcase, and then people still end up disappointed regardless.
I wonder if it will be the same week as, like, again, we assume Xbox to have their showcase, Summer Games Fest to have their showcase. You've got a bunch of other showcases that happen. I'm hoping it lands. Is that the same time frame? Is it before then? I don't remember.
So around June, July-ish, yeah.
So this,
I think IGN's is in
right?
June.
No, this is early June.
Yeah, this is June.
So it could land perfectly in the right spot. Look, I'll be honest with you. I'm thinking selfishly. I don't really want to go to TwitchCon San Diego this year. TwitchCon's great. If it was back in Vegas, I'd 100% be there. Love Vegas. But TwitchCon's a weird one. I don't feel like I'm getting the right opportunities. Nah, this seems like it's right up my alley, guys. This seems perfect for me to go. And pretend that I'm a big shot and I can run around being like, hey, I'm MC Fixer. What'd you do? I host for Ubisoft, you know? But for you guys, obviously from a viewing aspect, you excited for this, Krish?
I don't know. I'm gonna land on the no side simply because like I think a lot of times whenever these showcases started happening in the summer, getting announced, they ended up not meeting what I wanted because I wanted another E3, but I didn't even want another E3. I wanted E3 in its heyday. And that'll never happen. So I feel like not being excited for this is probably the best move to be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah. Despawn, you excited, apprehensive?
I think I'm somewhere in between the two here. So like I'm kind of interested, like, because they're talking about like headliners and things like that. And if you like you say they're going to be lining this up around other people's announcements, what I could definitely see happening is somebody else has a big like first party presentation and then comes onto IGN Live to talk about more in depth. That I'm interested to see. Maybe drop a couple of extra trailers and like they'll have their own panel as well. So yeah, I'd be interested to see that. I like the idea of like networking opportunities as well. Be awesome. I'm just saying maybe we ramp up your idea and, you know, we all sneak in and get a room
and my Xbox
and me live.
I'm not sneaking in. I'm getting in, guys.
You're going to walk in. Yeah, okay.
You guys can sneak in, all right?
I mean, I'll buy a ticket and walk in through the front door.
Okay,
but
sure.
We'll sneak into that side room and put an AmXIM logo on the door. We'll do that, yeah.
We'll just put it over the Podcast Unlocked one. Wherever Podcast Unlocked's happening, we'll just slap a My Xbox and Me logo over the top. And they want to come in and be like, oh, we've heard of this guy on the podcast. He sided with us when Xbox went to hell. There you go. And then I'll win everybody over.
Exactly.
Guaranteed. Yeah, I mean, I've been looking forward to a mix, an American mixer. If it's truly what they're going for, in terms of like networking opportunities and things like that, this is so a big yes for me. Obviously, this comes alongside the news of their IGN unionizing as well, which is dope. We didn't talk about it on last week's episode, but congratulations to them. Obviously, it's something I know in America unions are kind of like not a normal thing compared to over here in the UK. Unions are very normal over here. So shout out to IGN, obviously fighting for what they believe is right, and to not be able to get laid off with no repercussions and things like that. Obviously, I don't know exactly how it works in America compared to the US, compared to the UK. Sorry, but congratulations to them nonetheless.
If only we had someone from America on the podcast.
Yeah, that would have been
dope if we did.
Super helpful.
Yeah, someone could give us like an insight on how like labor laws work in the US.
Well, I'm a lawyer and I know all about labor laws. So just ask away and I got you an answer.
So how does it work?
So I just want to clarify, I'm not a lawyer and I have no clue how it works at all.
Idiot.
Unions generally just protect the employees. They can't get unreasonably discharged a lot of times, and if they do get fired, it is sort of like, hey, you'll get these benefits if you get fired, or you need this amount of notice, et cetera, et cetera. So it's just generally really cool to see, especially in the gaming space where there's constantly sort of layoffs, something like this happening.
Games media, I think it's interesting, right? Because with all the Xbox news, and I put news in air quotes, right? 'Cause it's all rumors and speculation, which I think some of it does have merit, and I think some of it doesn't. I think it does show how important we are. Not journalists on this podcast, never have been, never will be, right? We're if anything, enthusiast press, if you want to really put us in that category. Most people put us in the influencer category, which again, don't love the word influencer for what we do, but whatever. I think it showed how important a Jason Schreier is, a Tom Warren over at a Jez over at Windows Central. Like these people that go out there, have their boots to the ground, have their connections, have sources, don't just report on rumors and things like that, right? Like these staples of our industry, you know, who do very good journalism work. It shows how important they are, especially at times like now, right? Obviously, it does become harder because I do feel like we're seeing more outlets report on salacious rumors more because of the clicks, which I don't blame them for. Don't get me wrong. I understand that we are all driven by ad revenue and things like that. And to keep a business running, sometimes you have to do some things that maybe you wouldn't want to. But I do wanna, you know, appreciate how hard some of these gaming journalists do work, and we should be thankful for them, because if without them, it'd be the wild west out there.
Yeah. Oh no, I agree. Like there's it seems like it's changed over the last few years, but there used to be a lot of like everyone trying to get the scoop and get everything right. Now it seems to be, instead of being a race to get things right, it's a race to get things out first.
Yeah, well, the moment a story breaks, what would happen before is people would hear things, they'd hold it on until somebody would get something concrete, or something along those lines. Now it's the second a rumor goes out there, if they've heard something, they will write up an article, because if you're waiting for the official announcement or something more solid to come through, a lot of times it's too late for the clicks, right? People aren't going to care anymore. They're just going to scroll past that announcement or whatever it is.
Well, you always see and that's the hardest part of this job, right? You always see the Xbox is going down in flames. Oh wait, redact, underline, updated. Xbox is just going down. There are no flames. You know, like we always forget that part.
Second update. Yeah, actually, Xbox are fine. I don't know your problem.
Xbox is good.
Yeah, Xbox
I have a question. I have a question for the both of you guys. Do you guys ever, like, if you read an article and you see the article pop up again, do you ever click the updated version?
No.
If it says it's updated, I'll go check it to see what the update is. But if it's in like a timeline, 9 times out of 10 I'll have missed it.
Yeah, I'm with Fix. I generally don't click on it unless it's like something that I'm interested in actively. Then I'll click and read the update. Otherwise, like, I'm 100% like, whatever the original story is, it's the original story until I hear otherwise.
I get my news from so many different places though nowadays. You know, like, I'm on Reddit quite often for a lot of news. I know like a lot of people don't like Reddit. I actually quite like Reddit because I like reading other people's opinions on things, whether or not they're batshit crazy half the time. That's what it is. But I do like reading other people's opinions, and Reddit is good for that. And then obviously IGN's like my go-to for like the news stories for the show, and then Windows Central for Xbox things, and then Twitter. Twitter is still, I know Twitter is a cesspool of bots right now, but it is still my go-to place that I go, like the IGN stuff. Before reading it today, I saw that all through Twitter. I didn't see it anywhere else. So yeah, those are my go-to places. So I never see the update if I've seen it on one website, because I don't always frequent that website. I might go there once a week. You know, I go on IGN maybe once a week and listen to the podcast once a week, and there you go.
Yeah, I mean, to Twitter's benefit, the easiness of updating stuff, I'll generally see updates to a story on Twitter, especially if I'm actively looking, because I'll click a story and then I'll read a few comments below it, a few tweets below it, and if it's a cesspool, I'm like, okay, I'm scrolling past it. But a lot of times there will be one that's like, hey, this is misinformation, or even Twitter has the correction function, or whatever they call it, the community notes.
Community notes. Yeah, I like community notes. Sometimes they're petty as fuck, which I love.
I love the
those are the best.
Sometimes they're so petty, I'm like, what the hell?
My favorite is when Elon Musk gets put community notes on his posts. It's like, I've saved Twitter. Community note, Twitter is dying a horrible death.
Do you mean X?
Twitter's dead.
Yeah,
as soon as now.
I mean, as soon as if I type twitter.com and it doesn't take me to the website, I'll call it X. Until then, it's Twitter.
I respect
even when it does that, I'm still
calling it Twitter. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get. Should we go into this week's dashboard, boys? Let's see what the news is saying, shall we? First piece of news: Microsoft's gaming revenue overtakes Windows thanks to Activision Blizzard. I think we covered this a little bit, but there's a little bit more of an update here, which is Xbox content and services revenue, which includes Game Pass, is up a massive 61%, and that is largely thanks to Activision Blizzard's revenue. Also, to go along with that, the 2 billion acquisition, the revenue costs. So all revenue is now sitting at 930 million, if I'm not wrong, with other operating expenses sitting at around 1.59 billion. It works out. They're operating at a 440 million loss, which is interesting. I mean, with all the layoffs, I'm guessing that's going to help bring the losses in a lot more as well. But yeah, bro, honestly, I hate reading these numbers right now because of all the layoffs that have been happening. Another important piece of news as well, though, the gaming quarter as well. Xbox had its third largest in business. Gaming contributed to 7.11 billion revenue for the quarter, more than the 5.26 billion for Windows, but behind the 13.47 billion from Office and cloud services, which was at 23.95 billion from services, products, and cloud services. So it sounds like Xbox is doing what it's supposed to do right now for Microsoft. If you're asking me, it's bringing in enough money for it to still be a profitable business for Microsoft. But obviously, with what we know is coming this week, which we'll get onto, I'm sure. It's not enough. It's not enough for Microsoft. It's not enough for Microsoft, which is
they want to recoup that 69 billion somehow, don't they? And 2 billion of that isn't going to cut it.
Yeah, I guess so.
We've had conversations on the downside of Sony and PlayStation on where Sony makes Sony decisions and it affects PlayStation to a degree. Yeah. And I think this is one of the first times in a while we've seen that on the Xbox side possibly happening, which we'll know more whenever they do the podcast. But it'll be very interesting to see what exactly goes down in their wording for that.
Speaking of podcast, Phil Spencer tweeted out, please join us for a special edition of the official Xbox podcast. Hear from Phil Spencer, Sarah Bond, and Matt Booty as they share updates on the Xbox business. Kresh, we didn't get to hear from you about everything that was said on Twitter from Phil Spencer and obviously the rumors that have come out. So let's start there, I guess. Where are you? How do you feel about Xbox as an ecosystem right now? And are you worried that we're probably going to lose exclusives on the system? And does that change your mind or where you're at as a gamer at all?
As a gamer, it doesn't. As a Xbox fan, it doesn't really either, to be 100% honest with you. I think for me, the most distressful thing and the biggest thing to push me away from the brand has been the handling of communication, right? I think Phil Spencer coming out and saying, hey, we're doing a podcast, I think that's, in a sense, a little too late. Right.
But he didn't even say that. That's the thing. I wish he would have said that we were doing the podcast.
Oh, he said we were getting an update next week or whatever.
We didn't even get told it was going to be the podcast.
Yeah. So yeah, that is like, I just think the handling of all the information has just sort of been the downside to this whole thing. Because all they had to do, like the second that news dropped, would have been like, hey, stuff's getting blown out of proportion. We will have an update for you next week. Right away. If they did that right away, I think everybody's opinions on the situation wouldn't be as bleak as it is now. I think the podcast coming out and it's, hey, we have the three big people on Xbox coming and doing a podcast together. I don't think that's super great news for the diehard Xbox fans, right? No. Something's going down there for better or for worse. The only thing I ask is like, be direct. Don't be like, we're dealing with this on a case-by-case basis. If it's all Bethesda games are going multi-platform, just say that. If it's all Activision games, just say that. Don't give us the, oh, we do it on a case-by-case basis based off the game, only to have rumors then keep swirling around, because they will keep swirling around if you aren't super direct with what you're trying to say.
Yeah, I feel like then there's no way to come out and say all Bethesda or Activision. No. Because there's been more rumors going around talking about it's pretty much confirmed that Hi-Fi Rush is going to be on PlayStation and Switch, and so is Pentiment also, as the two games that are pretty much confirmed to be going onto the systems that are not Xbox. So yeah,
I think for me it's more so kind of a case of just at least like be like, hey, we're going to be very clear from going forward if a game is exclusive or not at launch, like when we announce it. None of this, like what happened with Blade should never happen again, right? Is like they will be very upfront, like this game is exclusive, this game is only coming to Xbox, whatever the case is, and sort of like confirm to us that they're going to muddy, like remove some of that muddied messaging that they have sometimes.
Yeah. Despawn, has your mind changed at all since the last time we spoke about all this? We got the podcast coming now. Anything changed?
I'm worried. Like, if it was just Phil and he was just like, yeah, so I just want to sit down and go through the details. I know there's been a lot of confusion, and here's all the answers to that confusion. Fine. The fact that Matt Booty's on there, Sarah Bond is on there as well, that suggests to me there's going to be a big change coming. I'm not saying it. I feel bad putting it out there. Is Phil long for Xbox?
What do you mean?
Like, could he be like stepping aside as
Leaving?
like this, not leaving so much, but like the spokesperson, or maybe even leaving? Yeah,
I feel like they've been doing that for a while though. Especially with Sarah Bond, like we've seen her become a more front-facing person in the Xbox world as of lately.
I feel like that was
think-
kind of like a precursor to her getting her new role though, rather than anything else.
I think if Phil leaves, it'll be either at the announcement of the next console or the release of the next console. I don't think he's leaving. Like, if he were to leave right now, I think that would be not a great sign when things are already at a low. And the best thing to happen.
I don't think they're doing a podcast for that.
Yeah, no. That would be. I could see them doing a podcast for that. Not right now,
Bro. Major Nelson was a long time, and I know he's not Phil Spencer, but they didn't do a podcast for him, and he owned the goddamn podcast.
Yeah.
Like,
mean,
it was
that
a
man
Major
was-
Nelson podcast.
He's
Like,
started doing a podcast.
Now, I can say, Major Nelson was the voice of Xbox for so long, and now like Phil's kind of stepped into that role a little bit.
he's been it since he became head of Xbox. To be honest.
He's the one that I say they count out, but like he counts himself out to have those conversations. But yeah, like I could see maybe him taking a step back from that role a little bit, and like I said, Sarah and Matt maybe taking the lead on those a little bit. You don't think?
No,
I think
no way.
I don't think that's great for Xbox right now. I think it's like, hey, we're doing all these changes, and then be like,
the one
Phil
person that you
Spencer's
won't
gonna be
love,
taking a step back. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think this is I said it in a tweet and I got a little bit of hate for it, but I truly believe on Thursday, gaming as we know it will have changed. I think I just don't think we're not gonna walk away. Xbox gamers are not gonna walk away from this unscathed in one way or the other. If you chose to spend your hard-earned money on an Xbox because you wanted to come here and play exclusive games on Thursday, I think that will all have changed, and I think it will come down to it will come down to: do you like the ecosystem? Do you like the controller? Do you care about your old library? Those are the things that are going to keep you on Xbox from now on, because it sure as hell won't be exclusive games.
So you think all games are going to be going to other platforms?
I think they will come out and say on a case by case basis, we decide on what's going on. And I think eventually the Xbox are too smart and Microsoft are too smart. They're never going to come out and just be like, yeah, everything's going for multi-platform.
Yeah.
But I'm too old, Crash. I've been doing this too long. You give an inch, they take a mile. If people do not speak with their wallets, and I don't think that even Xbox care about that, honestly, it's a case of no. This is what the new Xbox looks like. It is xCloud. It is Game Pass. That is it. It's not the box that is underneath your telly anymore, which I think is the wrong move, by the way. But that doesn't matter what I think. What I think is going to happen is we are going to be left. I think I'm going to be left very sad on Thursday. And, as someone who's covered Xbox for nearly a decade, I think it's going to be a very, very sad and somber day for me, especially, and Xbox fans as a whole.
If they were to come out and say, hey, Bethesda games are not going to be exclusive going forward, and they kept it very direct, like any games that were third party previously at Activision going forward won't be exclusive. If they were to give you direct sort of like, this is the stuff that won't be exclusive, does that sort of lessen the blow for you at all?
Yeah, it lessens the blow for me. But it doesn't. I don't believe a word that comes out of Xbox's mouth anymore. And ultimately, I've listened and I've waited, and I've listened and waited and listened and waited. And I've always been told the same thing. The games are coming. The games are coming. The games are coming. And yeah, we've had a few very good titles here and there, but they still haven't delivered on the same level as their competitors. They haven't delivered on a Breath of the Wild. They haven't delivered on a Last of Us. They haven't delivered on a Horizon. They haven't delivered on a God of War. They haven't delivered on a Pokemon. You know, I'm trying to think from a Nintendo point of view. And not that Pokemon games are fucking great. I'm just saying, like, a lot of people love them. Like, you know what I'm saying here.
Yeah.
They haven't delivered on that. And yeah, no, I mean, yeah, it lessens the blow, Crash, but it also, I still feel like it's egg on my face. I'm the one that sat here celebrating the Xbox bought Bethesda. I'm the one that sat there celebrating the Xbox bought Activision. You know, because, and the reason I celebrated those things is because I thought we were finally going to have a great, for the next decade or 20 years, we were going to have a great competition between PlayStation, Nintendo, and Xbox again, where Xbox were really going to be able to compete. And, you know, if they're going to say these games are going to come to other platforms, it doesn't change anything for me, really. You know, I guess again, I'm in a very, very, very privileged position. You know, PC. If I've got a PC, do I really need an Xbox?
Nope.
9 times out of 10 now.
That's 9. It's kind of 10 times out of 10.
No,
if we're being honest.
There's a couple of experiences that have only come to console, but it is 9. It really isn't. It isn't
It's a hard
anything
9.
more. Yeah, and I think that's kind of where I just have to get off my high horse and just realize, like, Xbox to me is Game Pass, and I've got to enjoy these titles that come into Game Pass, and I've got to enjoy these exclusives that are going to be timed exclusives on Xbox in Game Pass. But if this is the way they go, there is no need for me to buy a console of Xboxes again. But I guess we'll find out on Thursday.
Yeah. So, yeah.
We'll find out on Thursday.
I'm interested. So, yeah, for anyone who's... are we putting this out beforehand?
Yes. Yeah.
So for those that are listening before, obviously we will be live reacting to the podcast.
Yep.
So we'll be doing a podcast in a podcast because, you know, that's what we do here. So yeah, we'll be live reacting and then obviously giving our thoughts after. So if you are about, please do tune in on the Twitch and the YouTube. So I'm excited and scared, like definitely scared about the future of Xbox. Like I'm interested to see what they have to announce. I'm excited to get together and talk about it. But yeah, I'm not sure how excited I am for the outcome in the end.
I think you are drastically going to see a change in most Xbox content creators' content after Thursday.
Mm-hmm. You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, if the games go multi-platform, a lot of Xbox content creators will have to change their plan. That's why you've seen such a pushback from like a lot of the diehard Xbox fans.
Absolutely.
It's because sort of their one niche is sort of like crumbling around them, and it's if they keep with the way Xbox would go, if they keep on the trajectory they've been on, they would only alienate sort of part of the community that they were representing, I guess.
Let's talk about it from our perspective, right?
Yeah.
Again, not that we do crazy numbers because we do not, but the two pieces of content that we've made being around the state of play reaction and the Final Fantasy reaction are our most viewed content of the last month. Yeah, I think you're going to see a lot of people transition. Once Xbox finally decide to go multi-plat, and if that is the case, I think you're going to see a lot of people transition. They're going to go, well, I don't need to just focus on this one niche anymore. So
Yeah.
And look, I'll say it from this point of view. Look, guys, I know I've done a weekly Xbox podcast, but I've owned a PlayStation since I was a baby. PS1 first console. I've got plenty of stories for you. So make sure you come on over to my PlayStation and me when I get that started, and come listen to my stories. Hey, you want to talk about the bouncer? Trust me, I've got stories.
Oh yeah,
You remember the bouncer? Yeah, exactly.
I vaguely remember the bouncer.
I got stories. You want to talk about chip PlayStation 1s? Trust me, I've got stories.
The Biro trick. Everyone remembers the Biro trick, or the blue tack, whichever one.
Of course. Yeah. Come on, you already know. No jokes aside, next story. Disney buys 1.5 billion stake in Epic Games to create expansive universes within Fortnite. Despawn, I saw this news drop last week. Obviously, we're a little bit behind with the way things have been going. This is absolutely huge, right?
This is massive. So obviously, everyone knows Fortnite. It's like the biggest, one of the biggest free-to-play games in the world. And obviously, I think a couple of people are aware of Disney. They've been doing a couple of crossovers with things and stuff for the last few years. But yeah, buying $1.5 billion worth of stake in Epic is huge. I know they're also talking about bringing basically a Disney World into Fortnite. So I'm guessing this is going to be using the Fortnite builder. I'm interested to see where this goes because, Disney basically buying everything again. They're back on the buying market.
Well, they're buying a stake. They're not exactly buying.
I mean, they're not exactly just looking what's behind the couch. This is like £1.5 billion or dollars. It's a lot of money.
But they're not worth a lot of money. Epic
it's
also
worth a lot. As far as I'm aware, they don't own Epic after this. So saying they're buying
a stake of Epic, so we say, buying shares.
They're investing in them.
They're investing into them, It's still
just
a lot of money.
Like I invested in Crash, I invested in Crash a long time ago.
1.5 billion.
I haven't seen a return on my investment yet, but I still believe.
I stole
all of it. I stole all of it. Yeah, I stole all of it. Every bit of investment that was supposed to go towards improvement and return, none of it.
Spent it on Genshin loot boxes.
He spent it on, I can give you my Genshin account. That'll be a return to you.
I bet it would. I'm excited for this a little bit. Like, I haven't played Fortnite in a really long time. I didn't check out the car stuff or any of that new stuff they put in, unfortunately. But if you can make cool experiences in the Disney world and they can happen in a timely manner now for when you have the new games come out, and obviously we all love Fortnite when they did the Infinity Gauntlet stuff and all of the other Marvel crossover stuff that I've played and I've always enjoyed. I think it's a match made in heaven, if I'm being honest with you.
I also don't think that the experience they're going for is also just Disney exclusive stuff, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh.
I think it is like an expansive universe, it is an expansive universe.
So Simpsons.
All the crossovers they normally have.
Everything they own, basically. So when I say Disney, I don't just mean like Mickey Mouse is coming to Fortnite. I mean like Disney, Star Wars, Marvel.
I'm talking even outside of that as well. So? Yeah. I think like anything that they can get like work into a crossover with any other company that would be willing to add to this, I think 100% Disney's not going to say no to that. Or nor would Fortnite, right? Because that only bolsters the content that Disney would put into that as well by having more stuff in it and involved with it.
I am interested to see how other companies like react to this. Like you say, like having those kind of crossovers. Not everyone's happy about like their IP crossing over with other people's. So I'm interested to see if that is like if we see less non-Marvel or like non-Disney stuff coming to Fortnite.
I think we would have seen less non-Disney stuff coming to Fortnite a while ago. Before this, to be 100% honest with you.
I just think money talks at the end of the day. I feel like if you've got an IP, it doesn't matter what the IP is, even though, you want kids to know what your IP is because they're going to grow up and be interested in that thing forever, right? Mm-hmm. And I feel like Fortnite is the gateway to that. We did the agree or disagree on my Xbox and Me Extra this week, right? And like I saw the comments and someone was like, this Fortnite default guy is like an iconic character at this point. And I'm like, I can't argue against that at this point. Mm-hmm. Like he really is. I'm interested. I'm interested to see where this goes, but I do think this is a very, very smart move from Disney. Obviously, they've been partnering with their games on a lot, like obviously Wolverine, Blade, a few other properties out there now. But this Fortnite, this makes more sense than anything else that we've seen before, to be honest with you.
This feels like an easy purchase for them as well. Like, because all they have to do is like, we buy the stake, and then Epic developers make all the Disney stuff for us.
So
Win-win. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, they've been doing that anyway with all the Fortnite skins, which I'm sure they get like a cut of anyway beforehand. And now it's just like, yeah, well, we'll get dividends from our shares now instead. Great.
Yeah.
You know what this feels like? It feels like the stepping stone to when I was younger and I'd go online and you go to the Disney Games website and you could play a whole bunch of like games for like random IPs and stuff like that. And they were all fun because like it was free and whatever. This feels like honestly the next stepping stone in that, where it's going to be all in Fortnite. You log into Fortnite, there's going to be a Lilo and Stitch game or whatever have you, whatever IP Disney wants to do with that, Star Wars, whatever, there's going to be some sort of game. It might not be the best game, it might not be a AAA game, but that's not what the experience is there for. It's more of like a theme park and something fun to have in. So I'm very interested to see what they do.
Well, that's how I see it. I see it more of it is going to be the theme park side of it. So it's like, it's going to be like the Disney, like not the Dreamlight Valley one, but the Disney Adventures thing, where it's just like Disney World in Fortnite. So you can go off, you can just wander off into the park and just as your Fortnite skin that you like. So you could be running around as Goku in Disney World, riding all the rides with all of the Fortnite skinned characters there. Like that's what I want. That's actually what I want now. Now I'm thinking about it. I just want to run around Disney World as Goku.
Do you think we can get like a Fortnite Mario Party?
Yeah,
I'd love that. I'd love that.
I can 100% see them doing it.
Do you want like a Fortnite Mario Party, or more along the lines of like what they do with the racing game, where it's like it's made in the engine, but it's like a racing game?
Yeah, no, what they did with the racing game, like
and
just
the Minecraft one as well.
A big map, you throw a dice, and then there's a bunch of mini games that you go off and do.
I could see that.
That'd be dope. I'd love that.
Yeah. I could see someone actually making that within the Fortnite builder, to be fair.
Yeah, it could already exist. I just wouldn't know.
But yeah, an official one would be cool. Sorry.
Yeah, no, absolutely fun. Yeah. Next up, Take-Two CEO says competing Xbox and PlayStation consoles are a benefit, but not a necessity. The quote here we got from Take-Two CEO is, "It's not costly to master something for a physical distribution as long as you don't produce too much inventory. It's not costly. So this isn't a big decision for us. It was a big decision 30 years ago in the business when we had to produce cartridges and you couldn't do anything with them. But today we can order a disc and 5 days later, it could be on the shelves." Finally, Zelnick was asked if he felt it was important to have a healthy business in video games markets with competing consoles of PlayStation and Xbox, and he replied with this: "I think it's a benefit. Do I think it's ultimately a necessity? No, but I do think it's a benefit." I'm so over this conversation already, right? Maybe that's how I know I'm getting old, right? Because I'm like, anything that's like a repeat, I just don't care. But I mean, it's easy for Take-Two to say this, right? Like of all publishers, GTA, NBA, like
Take-Two is constantly on this exact same train of thought with every single story that pops up. They're always like, "Hey, we're good on this. Like, you guys can do whatever. The Activision purchase, whatever." Everything that's happened that's had any sort of discourse, Take-Two's response is sort of like, "Yeah, we don't really care. It doesn't bother us."
I was just looking at the GTA receipts like, "Yeah, no, we're fine. Yeah, we're good."
Yeah. They just, well, I saw an article. I don't think we're talking about it this week. So I saw an article of like, yeah, the leaks happened. Didn't really bother us. And it's like, yeah.
Well, there was also I don't think we're talking about this either, but there was the story of like they had a board meeting or whatever, like to discuss finances and the earnings and whatever, and they were like, "Yeah, we didn't make too much money right now, but like, don't worry about it, we'll make money.
Yeah,
don't be bothered."
Sorry, 1 second. Let me just look over to GTA 6. Yeah, we're gonna be okay.
Yeah,
we're gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Can you imagine having a game that big on your portfolio where you're like, you could lose money for like
2 years, 3 years,
4 years, 5 years?
Yeah.
and then just be like, guys, just sit back and relax.
Yeah,
all
just
right.
relax, yeah.
Once Rockstar put out their game, we're gonna be fine.
Mm-hmm.
It's Rockstar and Nintendo that do that. That's about it. Because
Yeah.
Nintendo for the longest time ate off of the Wii sales, right?
Yeah. Oh, mate. Yeah.
They definitely didn't eat off the Wii U sales, that's for sure.
They did. They ate off of me, mate. I bought one. Idiot.
Did you buy games though? That's where they make most
I
of their
did.
money. Okay.
How
never
many?
mind. They ate off of Fix.
I had to do every console I've ever bought. I've always bought the exclusive games. That's why this hurts so much with Xbox. They're gonna become.
I'm gonna say I don't know why you say it's gonna hurt. It's gonna do your wallet a world of good.
It's gonna hurt me.
Okay, emotionally, not financially.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it makes me sad even thinking.
Fix
about it.
likes to see his bank balance go down. The lower it is, the happier Fix is.
Yeah. Okay.
It means I'm paying less tax. That's all I fucking know. Anyways, Crash. Guess that game, baby.
Guess that game. So for those of you guys that don't know, Guess That Game is the game show, the thing we do where one of us decides to pick a game and the others have an allotted amount of time to make guesses and not make guesses, but they ask inquiries, yes or no answers, to sort of narrow down what the options could be. At the end of that, they make a guess, and if they get it correct, they get a point. If not, they get nothing, nada, zero, zip.
Zippity doodah, as the
Zippity
boys would
doodah.
say. Crash, the points are you have 2 points. I have 1 point. Matt has 0 points. Despawn has 0 points. Despawn, look at me. Look at me.
Yes,
I need you to lock in today.
No.
Last week we were awful. Lock
we're
in.
terrible. I am. Yeah, that's gonna. Yeah, I wouldn't
I
expect.
saw
too
somebody
much.
complaining about you guys last
Really?
week. Yeah, I saw some sort of tweet somewhere. I don't know if it was a tweet or a Discord message or something like that. I saw something somewhere.
Yeah, no, last week we struggled. Last
Yeah.
week
What was the game? last week?
Minecraft.
It was Minecraft. To be fair, Matt said it wasn't
To
on
be-
on 360, so you know that's
Wasn't
on
a
him.
single, didn't have multiplayer, wasn't on 360. Like Matt got a lot of information wrong last week. A lot that threw us off. Not yeah.
Okay, but to be fair,
So it's not me, it's Matt.
you know the enemies in Gears of War are not aliens. So
Never.
I don't think you
living that
can
down.
complain about that. Absolutely not.
Bro, that was last season, bro. Why are you
No.
talking about things last
I
season?
got no bothers with bringing up something last season, Fix.
Okay, anyway, let's get into this.
What's
man. Let's do
the
this.
time you guys got?
A minute
30
and 30.
seconds.
A minute 30. So
Yeah.
my phone is currently being used as light, so I'm not gonna be able to use
I
that.
got
if
you.
you have a timer. Okay, you got it.
Yeah, I got you. No problem.
So this is going to be a 3-minute long episode. Cool.
We're gonna go despawn, then Fix.
Okay.
All right, you tell me when to start it.
Start it.
Exclusive.
No.
EA.
No.
Capcom.
Yes.
Okay. Action game.
Yes.
Multiplayer.
There's action in it. Yes.
Okay. Do you eat food in this game?
No.
Do you hunt things in this game?
No.
Okay. It's not what
Okay.
it is.
Female protagonist?
Yes. No.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes. No.
Is it because it's a character creator?
No.
No. Okay.
Let's get genre. It's not a puzzle game.
No.
Horror game.
No.
Capcom. A fighting game.
Yes.
Is it based on a? Is it licensed IP?
No.
Are there sequels in this game?
Yes.
Okay.
You guys can stop the time.
I'm gonna say, did one come out last year? Was gonna be.
Well, you have to answer that. You still got 10 seconds.
Yeah. There's one came out last year. Yeah.
Despawn.
Hi.
We got it, son. We did it. We did it, baby. We did it.
Yeah,
We're not on the
maybe.
balls yet. We're not on the balls
Okay.
yet. You write down your answer. I'll write down my answer.
I
right?
mean, do I need to? You write down your answer. I'll just say mine, right?
Okay. All right. Let me just, there we go. Okay. Ready?
Okay. Was it Dark? No. Was it Street Fighter?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, over the board, baby.
Yeah.
You know what would have been
Let's
funny?
go.
I was very close to doing Street Fighter versus Tekken.
Okay.
Oh my God.
As the game.
No,
I didn't do it. I didn't do it. Clearly, obviously, I didn't do it. But
The point tallies have been updated. We have got Crash on 2 points, me on 2 points, Despawn on 1 point, and
go.
Matt P Video on 0 points.
I'm back, baby.
You're back, baby. You're back. I'm proud of you. I'm
Oh,
proud of you. You did
stop
it.
it.
You did it. You did it. Let's jump into fix a second before we get out of here. First question is. Oh, good. We've read all these questions.
I don't think I've.
No, you're fine. Don't
I'm
worry
gonna
about
start copying and pasting them because there are questions.
Okay, cool.
I got you.
Remember, you can email in my Xbox and Me podcast at gmail.com. That's my Xbox and Me podcast at gmail.com. Remember, hit us up on the Discord as well to ask any of your questions you would like. Our first question comes from Origin Cookie Man, who says, it has been widely reported that the present, thank you, an interest of Taylor Swift. Oh, okay. Jesus, I don't even want to answer the rest of this. The presence and interest of Taylor Swift at the Super Bowl made it the most watched in history. What single franchise collaboration could have made the same impact for Xbox? Hashtag power couple.
None.
This,
one
I'm
beats
not
Taylor
gonna
Swift.
lie. This Taylor
Swift,
Swift thing has been.
I don't think Taylor
crazy.
Swift. I don't know if Taylor Swift endorsing a console would help propel that console into like sort of that level of notoriety.
You don't think the Swifties would buy
I think they
all
would
the
buy an
Xboxes?
Xbox.
Okay.
I don't think they'd buy games. And you have to remember, like,
think a Game
software
Pass is
sales
fine.
are the big thing. I don't think
What
they
about,
Game Pass like that.
Do you remember they did like we've had like a bunch of singing games? What about like a Taylor? You know, like we got rocked.
Oh,
rock
a
band
Taylor Swift
Metallica,
singing game.
Stuff like what about like a Taylor Swift singing game of all of her library? Not all, but like a select 20, 30 songs of her library, and it was exclusive to the Xbox platform. I
think
feel
it would
like
be-
that could do numbers. Yeah, I think that could do numbers. I'm trying to think of people that have like die-hard fans like that.
Just sports teams, really, isn't it? And
I mean, you have
Yeah.
Beyonce. You have
Drake. If Drake,
I don't think Drake would even have that effect.
No?
no. I think it has to be like a
think
rabid fan base, like a Beyonce or a Taylor
Yeah.
Swift.
Yeah.
I think Drake has fans, but I think Drake doesn't have the type of fans that are going to go out, buy an Xbox, and then buy a game for him.
Yeah, Drake fans are going to buy Drake albums. Drake fans are not going to buy an Xbox because he said so.
Drake fans aren't even buying Drake albums.
No, they're going to
streaming
stream his albums. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
it. Yeah.
True. Yeah, I'm trying. Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest.
The problem
I don't
is,
feel
like-
we have celebrities like that anymore either.
The investment also in gaming is a lot more than watching. Like the Super Bowl is like, I'm going to watch a game every here or there to see Taylor Swift, and I get to see in a parasocial way, I get to interact with that person. You don't get that in gaming.
No.
I'm going to go for a blast from the past. Like a classic one. Xbox and the return of The Rock.
No, I don't feel like he's fans.
Rock is not what he used to be.
That would be a good callback, though. I'll be
it
honest.
would.
Right? Yeah.
It would be a good
Bring
callback.
back The
But
Rock.
like, if we're gonna be honest, The Rock in his heyday didn't have
Yeah,
the
well,
pull.
yeah. I mean, he's back in the WWE. You know,
So-
I'm trying. No, Origin Cookie Man. I'm sorry. I don't think there is anything that could compare. Like the way I have seen people
it's also
openly be like, I want to watch the Super Bowl. So it's going to be. I'm like, you realize she's not even performing, right? Like she's
Yeah.
just going to be there for her boyfriend, and people are like, yeah, I just need a glance,
because
a glimpse
they've
of what.
been-
What?
they've also been following her journey,
Yeah.
going to these games. So it's not even like a one-off like halftime show or something like that.
No.
It is like they are experiencing a part of her life through
Yeah.
her in a very weird parasocial way.
talking of weird stuff, just to sidetrack a little bit, did you see the clip of them all getting excited and someone like just basically sacking Lana Del Rey?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Lana Del Rey was at the Super Bowl with Taylor Swift and got.
Yeah, I saw that. I didn't know she got sacked.
She got dropped. She dropped on her ass. Not like when I say sacked, I don't mean like fired. I mean like
no, I know what you
dropped
mean.
like
I
a
thought you
sack.
meant she got
Sacked.
tackled.
Yeah. She got knocked on her ass. It was. I think she's fine, so it's all right. I can laugh. It's okay.
I love how Diesel was like, it was
okay.
She's safe.
She's fine. She's safe. She's okay. Slight bruising, I assume. But yeah, I was like, everyone's getting excited. Taylor Swift's jumping around, and in the background, just Lana Del Rey just gets knocked to the ground. I was like, ouch.
All right, let's go on to this next one from Treacherous, who says, Brother Phil seems particularly quiet the last few days. Do you think there's a possibility he will be moved out of his current position? We kind of spoke about this earlier. I don't think so. I think this is probably the most delicate subject for Xbox to speak about in Xbox's history since probably the Xbox One.
Agreed.
Like maybe people think I'm being a little bit hyperbolic. I really don't think I am. When do you see him call an emergency podcast to clear up things? Never. I think this was from the top down. Everybody, radio silent. Don't do anything. Don't move. Don't sneeze. Don't cough. We are going to come up with a very thought out, meticulous plan for how we're going to deliver this death blow to our players.
I love that. Meticulous, thought out, death blow.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah, we've got a really corporate way of murdering everybody's dreams.
I will say, the fact that it's being done in a podcast does a little bit worry me. Just a little side note that I didn't mention earlier. It allows a lot of room for fluff to be added to what should be like short and simple messaging to whatever they are trying to say.
Oh, bro, you already know the first 10 minutes is just going to be like, oh, yeah, we know you guys have been waiting to hear from us and blah, 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 blah. It's going to be, yeah. And
lots of, so what does this mean for the players' questions? Yeah.
And it's going to be, well, you know, we've had the same. We've spoken about this for years. We're trying to deliver 1 billion, 2 billion players. We want people to be able to play their games wherever they want, however they want, wherever they want, with whoever they want, on whatever they want, and with time and people and stuff. And I'm just talking shit right now. Yeah, because that's what they're gonna do. That's literally what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll see. We will see. Unfortunately, Big Willie P, my guy, Big Willie says. Reports coming out today that Phil had an internal staff meeting at Microsoft and reaffirmed that they are, quote, still making consoles, end quote, but still love the hypothetical game of what if this is the last Xbox console? I'll play along with your hypothetical. If this is the last Xbox console, I'm glad I was a part of it. I'm glad I got to see it again. I'm glad I got to see the beginning, the middle, and the end. That's all I will say. If this is the last console, Sony are licking their lips, knowing that they're going to be able to control the living room. Again, I've been trying to play xCloud now on my new TV on my bed. Actually, a little update on that. I'll talk about in my Xbox X Extra for you guys. You guys will be very interested. Very interested, I promise. But it just doesn't work. It's not there yet. Like I don't know how Matt manages to play on xCloud. I can't get it to work at all. And it's through Wi-Fi, yes, but the Wi-Fi box is where I'm sat right now, and the bedroom is above it. Like, there's no reason it shouldn't have a decent enough connection. And it just doesn't, unfortunately, and that's just how it is. So, hey, if hypothetically this is the last console, I'm glad I was a part of it. I'm glad deep down, selfishly, I'm glad it got sent to me. I was glad I'm a part of the launch. I was one of the first people ever in the UK to have the Xbox Series consoles, and it's been a privilege to do this podcast and talk about it, honestly. But PlayStation will be sat there licking their lips. I think even Nintendo partly will be sat there being like, damn, All we got to do is put out a HD console finally, and we're back in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They won't be putting out a HD console.
No,
let's be real about it.
I'm going to say, did we get a confirmation recently that the next one's not going to have an OLED screen?
Yep.
Yeah, they're not putting out an HD console.
We're joking when we say HD, but you know what we're saying.
Yeah.
Crash, what about you? In a hypothetical world, this is the final Xbox. Are you happy? You sad? Where you at?
I am, I guess, a little sad, right? Seeing somebody like one of the big three in gaming, if you will, sort of go to the sideline or become a third-party publisher and not even have a console sort of, I think, does hurt the landscape. I'm thankful for what they've done. They've created some of my favorite franchises, and they have been for a while in terms of multiplayer and stuff like that. They were at the forefront of it, and even now, towards the end, the supposed end, they were at the forefront with cloud and Game Pass and all that stuff as well. So at least they went out sort of the same thing, doing the same thing that sort of made them big in the first place.
I feel like they still have all that though. I feel like they'll still push all of those things. I just think, and I think Xbox will still be the first to do certain other things, but just consoles, they're just like,
yeah. But like, if Xbox is no longer a part of that big three, it also lessens the need for the other two, which Nintendo's not going to do it regardless. Nintendo's going to do whatever Nintendo wants to do. But more so Sony, to like, they don't have to compete in that way anymore, because they don't have any direct competition for, like you said, the living room, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nintendo do what Play don't.
Yeah, I hated that. Can you do that again, but not at all?
Okay. Nintendo.
Yeah, cool. Sweet, nailed it. Hypothetically, if this is the last Xbox console, I'm glad I got a fridge out of it. It's a good fridge. It holds
it's an all right fridge.
It does its job. It keeps things
cool. I regret
cool.
buying the fridge.
Really?
I'm with Fix.
Even now that you're going to have a room to put it in?
I literally don't know where I'm going to put it in the office at the moment, and I still regret it.
Under the desk.
Oh, yeah.
He wants it to be a showpiece.
I mean, yeah.
That's the reason he got it. He didn't get it to like be under the desk.
True.
Yeah. If this is the last Xbox console, or I guess technically the next one that we know is coming because of the leaks, unless they've cancelled it.
Let's say that's cancelled. Let's say hypothetically that's cancelled.
Then yeah, like I'm sad to see him go out this way from the hardware space, but I'm interested to see what they do in the future. Because like they're not going to exit gaming anytime soon. Like we saw from the numbers that we were talking about earlier, they spent all this money to get these studios. They've not done that to be like, actually, yeah, no, we're changing our mind. We're not going to do games anymore. Like they're still going to be in the gaming space. I'm interested to see what kind of innovations and how they like, I guess, evolve in that space if they do decide to leave the hardware sphere. But yeah, it is sad. Like again, you said already, Crash, like Sony losing that direct competition. Like even with Xbox saying, "Oh, we don't compete on those levels anymore," like they still do to a level.
Absolutely.
And yeah, any leader losing competition is never good for the consumer. Like we saw from I think I've talked about it before, that the anime space with Sony buying all of the anime streaming services and then hiking the prices and taking away all of your digital purchases. It's not a good thing for consumers.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a whole different conversation though.
It is, but
there is a little bit of nuance there, but it still sucks very much. So.
It still sucks, and it's still Sony doing it. So
yeah, no, absolutely.
You know,
they have a precedent for it.
Yeah, I'm going to say basically they've got a precedent for doing non-consumer friendly things.
Yeah, whether PlayStation would want to do it or not is irrelevant when you have Sony at overhead, similar to like anything that would happen with Xbox. You always have Microsoft above them, sort of like, this is what you got to do, whether you want to or not, or whether you think it's good for Xbox, because I know it's good for Microsoft.
Yeah. So here's the big unknown right now. We know Jim Ryan's leaving Sony. Like, what's the person who takes over going to be? Like, what's his mindset? Their mindset going to be?
Hopefully they want to bring games to everything.
I'm gonna say, well, that's the thing. Are they going to be a consumer first, or are they going to be a, shareholder first?
Well, first of all, I do think we should partly touch on that. None of these companies are consumer first.
No, but
Agreed.
They benefit consumer to a degree, but they're not consumer first. Xbox's whole push with Game Pass is not, hey, we want to help consumers out with Game Pass. Like, it definitely does. Don't get it wrong, but that's not why they invested to Game Pass. So at the end of the day, I think that'll be PlayStation. Hopefully, I think part of like whether they're more consumer or more profit driven really depends on Xbox's move Thursday. If I'm going to be honest with you, because if Xbox sort of bows out to any like measurable degree as competition, then they have no reason to like put the consumer first in any of their decisions, right?
yeah.
All right, boys. Let's do one more before we get out of here. We will go with. Let's go with Steads. Purely hypothetical, and I understand if you don't read. I'm reading it. Let's say Microsoft do kill Xbox after all the fuss at the FTC and the CMA over the ABK deal creating a monopoly. Do you think they ought to investigate breaking up PlayStation as a monopoly? They don't consider Nintendo a console, and in that case, PlayStation is 100% a monopoly. So the 4D chess move, because Sony don't probably want to be in that position, it's all posturing to get some form of Game Pass on PlayStation. I get what you're saying. Yeah, it's purely hypothetical. I understand.
Yeah. Hypothetically, I do not think that Xbox are killing their hardware division just to get Game Pass on PlayStation. In the hopes that the FTC sees Sony as a monopoly at that point.
No. See, I can see a Game Pass app existing on PlayStation, but just not in the same way we see it on PC, Xbox. Well, I can see them. That's how they're going to put their exclusives on PlayStation. Like, you have to sign up to this subscription-based thing. We're not doing physical copies. We don't want them in the digital store or anything like that. But you will subscribe to Game Pass, which PlayStation will take their huge cut from, obviously, when it's purchased through PlayStation Store. And that's how they'll get it there. I do not see a world in which PlayStation are going to want another service on their console, or Nintendo for that matter, where you can override buying a game from their store where they make money to play it in a service that you've already paid for where they make less money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I know I went on a tangent there about something that doesn't really exist in Stead's question, but yeah. No, Stead, you're stretching, bro. You're all over the place. I can't even follow you on that one. I'm sorry. But
I think that'd be such a big gamble to be like, the FTC is gonna break up Sony.
I mean, yeah, I think
be wrong though.
I mean, yeah, if you're the only hardware like first-party console manufacturer in the US, you are technically a monopoly.
Yeah.
You've already got the highest.
The only thing I was saying, but not of your own doing.
Yeah, true.
Your competitors got out because you were so much better.
Your competitors got out after they made one of the biggest purchases in gaming as well.
Not one of the biggest, the biggest.
Yeah. So it's like, can you really look at that and be like, we're going to punish Sony because Microsoft effed up the bag that they got themselves, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, man.
I will say,
go on.
If it did happen, I'd imagine there would be some arguments for some stuff Sony side to change in terms of like their store and stuff like that, because they wouldn't have that other console competing and all that stuff. So I do think there's a possibility for something like that to happen. Sure.
Okay, I'll go with it. Let's plug and get ourselves out of here. Decent, what we got to plug this week, my dude?
youtube.com/my Xbox and me. Come watch the live shit show that is us all breaking down at the news on Thursday. Oh man,
the live shit show, that hurts. Probably true, but it still hurts.
No, we're going to be super professional and we're going to be great, but the news is going to be a shit show.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I'm going to promote my MXAM Extra. I'm seeing the numbers are a little bit down. Hey, it's a podcast. It's an extra podcast where we talk about Xbox things and other things as well. Check it out. It's well worth listening to. It's laid back. It's chill. It's a vibe. I love doing it. So make sure, if you haven't, check it out on your podcast feed or over on the YouTube channel. Last week we spoke about me playing WWE 2K24, which wasn't even out yet, so you got an exclusive there. And yeah, definitely worth checking out. It's not like a, it's just chilled vibes, and you get to hear about what we've been playing there as well, because we don't talk about that here anymore. So yeah. Crash, what you got to plug?
My PlayStation. I mean, if you guys want to go subscribe to that for the future.
It is a channel that exists. It is a channel that exists. I am sorry, but it is a channel that exists. We did one episode. If you're in the Discord, let me know in the podcast discussion section. Would you want to see on my PlayStation and me? Or hit me up on Twitter at MCFixer. I'm interested. I'm interested to know if you would want to see a brand new YouTube channel podcast from us talking PlayStation. Let me know. Let me know. Until next time, we will love you, leave you, and see you later. Goodbyes.